Hi guys, a very warm welcome to all of you. How are you guys? I hope every one of you are fine and preparing for exam very well because you do not have a lot of time, you just have 1 month time. And in this 1 month time, you have to actually cover a lot of topics. Actually, we do not have a lot of topics left. We have plant biotech, we have animal biotech, and we have genetics, which we will cover soon. It's not gonna be taking long time. We're going to cover it soon because all the important topics which are repeatedly asked and more a chance of asking, so that kind of topics will complete. Okay, so we'll not have any problem with that. Then we will do PYQs. We have to do at least 5 years of PYQs. That is the plan, because when you do PYQs, you get an idea of what kind of standard of questions get asked, because that you should be prepared for. So we will do that. For now, let's concentrate on completing the portions. Okay, so from today onwards, I'm going to start plant biotechnology for you. Okay, and this is part one of your plant biotechnology. I think for plant biotechnology, I might keep 4 classes and we will complete the portions of plant biotechnology within that itself. Okay. So yes, in today's class, we are going to learn about plant tissue culture, media requirements, types and applications, types of plant tissue culture and its applications. All of these things we're going to learn today. Okay. It's going to be a basics class, so don't worry at all. We'll learn all the basic concepts. One by one, we'll go into the depth. That's what we do always. It's like our schedule, it's like our routine. We always start with basics and go to the depth concepts one by one. Okay, so once again, I welcome you all to our YouTube channel, Good Mantra Shiksha Ka Granth, and I'm your educator, Saranya. Okay, so in plant biotechnology, we're going to study about plant tissue culture. Okay, so let's understand some of the concepts about plants. Okay, so the cell wall of a plant is basically made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, and pectin. Okay, so these are the materials, these are the polysaccharide materials that is a part of cell wall. Okay, plant cell has larger central vacuole. Okay, so vacuole is for storage of food. Okay, plant will also have to store its food, right? For that, vacuoles are helpful. Cell-cell communication is done via the plasmodesmata. Plasmodesmata is like a junction. It's like a gap junction between the two plant cell where the nutrients are transported, communicational signals are transported, and that region is called as plasmodesmata. Plant cells have plastids. Okay, plastids, amyloplast, where it will store the starch. Elioplast, it will store the fat, and chromoplast for pigment production as well as storage. So plastids are for storage also. Okay, another one is phragmoplast. In this, cytokine secretion will happen. These cytokines are helpful for the growth of the plants. Okay, so let's understand few terms. What is totipotency? Totipotency is a very important term in respect to plants. Okay, a single cell can give rise to the whole organism, that is whole plant, and that is what we call it as totipotency. Pluripotency means the cells which can give rise to the formation of germ layers. Germ layers are nothing but your ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. These are all the germ layers. So pluripotent cells help in the formation of these germ layers, and in eventually when the development of the plant or any organism happens, these germ layers form the organs of the organism. Okay, so multipotent cell, they can give rise to a few types of cell. Okay, and plant cells are cellular totipotent in nature. Yes, plant cell can give rise to a one single cell can give rise to the whole organism. That is why it is called as totipotent. That is why plant biotechnology is a field where we can culture, where we can grow any plant tissue, any plant organ. Okay, why? Because their cells are totipotent. So plant tissue culture is the in vitro aseptic culture of cells, tissues, organs or whole plant under the controlled nutritional and environmental condition, often to produce the clones of the plant. Okay, so this is the definition of plant tissue culture. So in plant tissue culture, you're going to aseptically means without any contamination, you're going to culture the tissues. Okay, you have controlled nutritional availabilities, you have controlled environmental conditions so that you can produce clones of the plants. So plant tissue culture relies on the fact that many plant cells have the ability to regenerate a whole plant. Okay, so that is called as totipotency. Okay, so single cells, plant cells without the cell wall is called as protoplast. Every plant cell will have a cell wall, but if you remove the cell wall, it is called as protoplast. Pieces of leaves, stems, roots, often these can be used to generate the new plant. Okay, in a culture medium, given all the nutrients, hormones and the environmental conditions required for the growth. The control conditions provide the culture and environment conducive means suitable for growth and multiplication. So these conditions include the proper supply of nutrients, pH should be maintained, adequate temperature should be maintained, gases and liquids, everything should be maintained properly, because all of these things are actually well regulated in nature. But if you're going to do in the laboratory in vitro condition, then you have to give all of this artificially, and you cannot 100% replicate what is in nature, right? That is why this kind of technology is not 100% successful. You can never replicate nature 100%. So you can actually replicate it to some percentage where you are doing research now. So one day we hope that we'll be able to replicate nature to 100%, but that is totally artificial and against the nature of laws. But yeah, people are doing research to do that, because this planet has becoming uninhabitable for all of us, and slowly it will be more dangerous for us because of the global warming and so many pollution, everything is happening, so it is slowly becoming uninhabitable. Okay, so always scientists will go in search for creating an alternative survival strategy. Okay, alternative survival strategy. So yes, that will be replicating the nature, because nature is always suitable for us. So replicating the nature will be the process, but you cannot always replicate the nature. So what are the basic requirements about the plant tissue culture media? So you need essential elements like macronutrients, which are required in large amounts, like carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus and sulfur, and micronutrients which are required in small amount like ferrous, zinc and copper. Carbon source is required like sucrose, gelling agent, yeast extract. Nitrogen source is required. Growth regulators are nothing but the hormones. So auxin, it's also called as indole 3 acetic acid. So auxin is a very important hormone, and its function is for callus formation and growth, somatic embryogenesis. All these terms we are going to learn. Okay, we are going to learn in detail. Callus is nothing but it's an undifferentiated mass of cells. Next you have cytokine. Cytokinin. So cytokinin, it's for cell division and leaves senescence. Senescence means aging and death. So ratio of auxin to cytokine is very important for the growth of plants. Okay, if auxin to cytokinin ratio is high, then it will give rise to root. Okay, if AC is high, it will give rise to root. If A by C is low, it will give rise to shoot. Okay, you have to remember this ratio. This they will ask you in exam. This ratio is very important, and the hormones and its function is also very important. Next is gibberellin. Okay, gibberellin is the next hormone. It is also useful in somatic embryogenesis and seed dormancy. Okay, what is the meaning of dormant? Inactive. Okay, abscisic acid is for seed dormancy and acclimatization. Acclimatization means for adjusting to a new environment. Okay, ethylene is for ripening of fruits. This too you would have already heard about, because they always say you cannot keep all the bananas, okay, all the bananas in the same place. If one of the banana is ripe, what it will do is it will release the ethylene gas. Okay, fruits basically and also vegetables, they release the ethylene gas which will ripen the nearby fruits also. Next is polyamine. Polyamine, it will act like auxin. Next is jasmoic acid. This is helpful in tuber formation. Okay, so these are the different types of hormones and its functions. Next, we are going to understand about types of culture. So, callus culture. Callus is what? Undifferentiated mass of cell is called as callus. In that you have primary callus. That is, primary means you actually obtain your source, explant from the plant. So, obtained directly from the plant. That is called as primary callus. Secondary callus is you're going to subculture the primary callus. You're actually growing the primary callus in a plate. From that you take few cells and start subculturing it, which means take few cells, put it in another plate or any vessel you're performing your experiment in, and again put the media and keep it for incubation. Okay, so that is called as secondary callus, which is obtained from the primary callus. Okay, next is cell suspension culture. Suspension is nothing but liquid medium. For high production of the secondary metabolites, plant cells can be grown in suspension media. We can control the culture conditions, and in this we can have batch culture and continuous culture. Batch culture means they will perform batch to batch culture, which means you will have a fermenter. You will put all the necessary materials required for the process to occur. It'll take some time for the process to occur, and after the end you will remove the products. So input and output is there. In continuous culture, the name itself says it's not like batch to batch, it's continuous. Continuously you will giving the feed and continuously you will be getting the output. Okay, you will remove the output, you'll again put the feed in. So it's a continuous process without any stop. Okay, so this is what is a callus. You can see these are callus. Okay, which is being grown on a media here. Okay, so next is protoplast culture. Okay, what is a protoplast? A cell without its cell wall is called as protoplast. So how can you make a protoplast? How can you remove the cell wall? By using some enzymes like cellulase and pectinase, you can actually remove the cell wall. Organ culture. Okay, you can actually culture a particular plant organ like a leaf, like a flower, like that. Determinate culture, which means the culture is of defined shape and size. Okay, like for example flower and leaf. Indeterminate culture means the growth is indefinite, which means it will go for infinity. Like for example apical meristem, height, length, thickness, these can be indeterminate culture. But if you talk about a particular organ like flower, leaf, these should be of the particular size only. A flower cannot be so big. Okay, it should be of the size of its species. Okay, that is why they are all coming under determinate culture. Next is meristem culture. What is the meaning of meristem? Meristematic tissues are those which are in a continuous state of cell division. Okay, very active cells. Next you have embryo culture. Embryo culture means diploid cells are used in the culturing. Haploid culture means you will either grow pollen culture and ovule culture. In embryo culture you can start from the zygotic stage. And what is the application of plant tissue culture? First one is clonal propagation. You're going to obtain the explant, then you'll have callus formation. Next step is embryonic meristematic cells, then you'll get complete plant. You can, clonal propagation is nothing but clones. You can produce so many different clones. Next is you can get virus-free plant. Virus-free plant. For this purpose, apical meristem is used. Basically, apical meristem is without any virus infection. Plants germplasm conservation can be done using cryopreservation. This is done so that you can actually prevent the extinction of a species. Transgenic plant you can create to fulfill your need, like herbicide resistant plants. You can have insect resistant plants, like that. Next, for the production of secondary metabolites. Secondary metabolites are produced by plants which are of very good use and commercial valuable products. Okay, and tell me, when is the secondary metabolites produced? They are produced in the stationary phase. Okay, you know the growth phase, right? Lag phase, log phase, stationary phase, right? In the stationary phase, this secondary metabolites will be produced. So what are the different steps in tissue culture? Okay, let's understand the different steps in tissue culture. First is the initiation phase. Initiation phase. So in this stage, the tissue is initiated into the culture. Okay, tissue is initiated into the culture. The tissue of interest is obtained and that is introduced and sterilized to prevent the process of any contamination. Okay, second step is multiplication phase. So the sterilized explant is now introduced into the medium where you will have all the growth regulators, hormones and nutrients. Now the multiplication of cell will happen, undifferentiated mass of cell. Okay, now the cells are growing but they have not attained any fate. They are not differentiated into any organ. So until then it is called as callus. Next is root formation. So the root will start forming, plant growth hormones are added to initiate the root formation. And how does root formation happen? When A by C ratio is high, root formation will happen. Shoot formation will happen when A by C ratio is low. Okay, we can actually regulate the concentration of hormones to make root grow and shoot grow. Acclimatization is when the plant starts developing, it is transferred to the greenhouse. Okay, to under the very controlled environmental conditions. It is finally transferred to the nurseries to grow under the natural environment. So acclimatization is nothing but adjusting to the environment, that is from the laboratory scale to greenhouse, from there to the natural environment. The plant needs to adjust for its growth, right? That is what is called as acclimatization. And what are the advantages of tissue culture? You have several advantages of tissue culture technique. One is that the plantlets are obtained in a very short period of time with small amount of plant tissues. Second is the new plant which is produced will be disease free. And the plants can be grown throughout the year irrespective of seasons, because all these plants have particular seasons for their growth. If we want more yield, we can actually grow the plant throughout the year. A large space is not required to grow the plants by tissue culture technique. A small space, laboratory itself is enough. The production of new varieties will be having good place in market and it will be sold very quickly because it has its own advantages over the nature. This technique is being used for the production of ornamental plants. Ornamental plants means for the purpose of decoration, like dahlia, chrysanthemum, orchids. All of these are for the purpose of decoration. Okay. So you can see here, this is a plant. From this, I'm going to take explant. Explant is nothing but like a sample. I'm going to take it from the leaf. Okay, so tissue sample, I'm going to put it in a culture medium. Now the cells will be growing. Callus formation will happen now. After the callus has been formed, I'm going to separate these cells and make into a single cells. Callus will be attached, adherent cells. I'm going to separate and convert it into a single cell and grow it as a suspension culture. Further, I'll do subculturing and put it in a test tube where the whole plant will be growing. Whole of the plant will be growing. Okay. So this is the summary of plant tissue culture. That's all, guys. For today, we have understood what is plant tissue culture, its types, its applications, and the requirements of the media. So I hope you would have understood the class. In the comment section, you can let me know about the experience which you're having. Okay. So if you are an academy, I mean, if you are a CSR net aspirant and are interested in joining an academy, you can do that by following Neha Taneja, ma'am. For getting 10% off, you have to use the referral code Neha. Okay, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel Gurmantra Shiksha Ka Granth. You can join our Telegram channel Gurmantra. You can also join our Facebook page Gurmantra Shiksha Ka Granth. You can visit our website www.gurmantra.in. If you have any further queries, you can mail us on tanejanehaofficial@gmail.com. Also, if you want to contact us, you can do that by 9351280000. Thank you so much, guys. Have a nice day. Keep studying, keep preparing, and also keep enjoying.